Chosen one, stop what you're doing right now and give me every ounce of your attention. That ache you have been carrying, the one that lives just beneath your ribcage, it has a name today. The enemy has been working overtime this week for one reason, and one reason only. He knew this message was coming. He knew that if you sat still long enough to hear what I am about to tell you, everything would change. So he kept you busy. He kept you distracted. He manufactured the noise, the arguments, the anxiety, the sleepless hours, all of it designed to make sure you never arrived at this moment. But you are here, and that means he already lost. It all shifts today. The grief, the guilt, the unanswered questions. But you need to understand something critical. It is not shifting because of coincidence. It is shifting because of what you have done, because of the quiet faithfulness that nobody saw, because of the way you have kept going even when the weight of missing her felt like it was going to swallow you whole. Think back to that moment this week. Maybe it was early in the morning, standing in a room that still holds pieces of her, a smell, an object, a silence that feels different from any other silence. Or maybe it was a random moment, a song, a phrase someone said, and suddenly your eyes were burning and you had to look away because the grief came out of nowhere and hit you like a wave you were not ready for. You did not fall apart. You breathed through it. You kept moving. You did not know it then, but that moment of endurance was not weakness surviving. That was the signal heaven was waiting for. You did not find this message by accident. The algorithm did not bring you here. Archangel Michael did. This is a divine appointment, written into the fabric of eternity before you ever drew your first breath. You are standing at a threshold, and on the other side of it is something your heart has been starving to receive. Stay until the very last second of this message, because in the next few minutes, I am going to deliver the exact words your mother in heaven has been asking to reach you. I am going to walk you through the specific moment this week where she intervened in your life without you recognizing it. And at the end, I am going to give you the declaration that opens the channel between your spirit and hers and seals it permanently against interference. Do not close this. Your future self, the healed version, the free version, the one who finally exhales, is begging you to stay. Because if you leave before the end, you leave before the message she has been trying to deliver reaches you. I know what the last 72 hours have felt like. The atmosphere has not just been heavy, it has been haunted. Not with darkness, but with presence. Like something has been circling close to you, just at the edge of what you can perceive, and you keep catching it in your peripheral vision and turning to find nothing there. Maybe you have been moving through your days with a low, quiet sadness that you cannot fully explain. Maybe you found yourself talking to her this week, out loud or in the deep place inside, telling her you miss her, asking her if she can hear you, wondering if she is okay, wondering if she is proud of you. Or maybe you dreamed of her and woke up reaching, and the moment of waking was the cruelest part, because you had to lose her all over again before the morning had even started. You feel the distance, and the distance feels like abandonment even though you know in your spirit it is not. And in that vulnerable space, the enemy has been whispering a very specific lie. Listen to your own thoughts right now. He has been telling you that the silence means she is gone, that the gap between where she is and where you are is too wide to cross. He has been replaying the last moments, the last words, the things said or not said, and he has been telling you that those moments define what she carries for you now. He has been whispering that her love for you had conditions you did not meet, or that the grief you still feel is proof that you have not honored her well enough, moved on correctly enough, healed fast enough. He has been using your love against you, but I need you to hear what the truth actually declares over this moment. Romans 8:38 and 39 says that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any created thing shall be able to separate us from the love, not even death. That is not poetry. That is a legal verdict. Death did not sever what she feels for you. It did not cancel the covenant of a mother's love. Love of that order does not dissolve. It does not go quiet because the body did. It transforms. It moves through dimensions your physical eyes cannot track. And Archangel Michael, the one who guards the passages between the seen and the unseen, has been commissioned to carry what she could not say to you while you were drowning in the grief of losing her. She is not silent. The channel was blocked, and today, right now, it opens. The heaviness you have been feeling is not abandonment. It is proximity. She has been pressing close to the veil between her world and yours, and what you have been interpreting as absence is actually her nearness. The ache you feel is not the wound of separation. It is the weight of a love so enormous it bends the fabric between realms just trying to reach you. You did not miss your chance to feel her again. You are standing in it. Some messages don't just inform, they activate. If something stirred deep in your spirit just now, you may be ready to receive the Chosen One's blueprint. This sacred guide reveals the 8 divine patterns behind your calling, your suffering, and your destiny. It also comes with the full audiobook, so you can absorb it during prayer, rest, or quiet moments with God. And for those called to speak His truth, you'll also receive Activating Your Prophet Mantle, a powerful bonus ebook for those carrying a prophetic assignment. The link is in the first pinned comment, but only for a limited time. Now let me tell you what has actually been happening, because here is what most people never truly grasp about the profound journey of grief. They approach it with the clinical precision of a surgeon, treating it merely as a raw, gaping wound that fundamentally needs to be sewn shut, cauterized, and forgotten. Their understanding of healing becomes a quantitative measure. How many steps they have taken away from the searing epicenter of pain, the precise tally of days that have passed without the torrent of tears, the meticulous calculation of their functional capacity in the hollowed-out space where her vibrant presence once resided. And the world, with its well-meaning but ultimately superficial gaze, applauds this performance. It bestows upon it the revered titles of strength, resilience, and moving forward. Yet I must reveal to you that what appears on the surface as commendable progress is, in its deepest spiritual truth. And this is the insight that will irrevocably alter your perspective in this very moment. Nothing short of profound spiritual misdirection. This deeply ingrained cultural narrative diverts your spiritual energy, creating a deceptive current that pulls you away from the true spiritual work at hand. It creates an illusion of forward momentum while preventing genuine integration and transformation. For the sacred goal was never, ever, to sever ties or simply move away from her as if she were a painful memory to be outrun. The true spiritual imperative, the very essence of this crucible, is to learn profoundly and beautifully how to carry her differently. Imagine it not as escaping a dark forest, but learning to navigate its sacred shadowed paths with a new light, understanding that the forest itself holds wisdom. Your grief is not a wall to be scaled and left behind, but a sacred river that demands navigation, teaching you new currents and depths. It is not an ailment to be cured, but a deep spiritual awakening, a transformation of your very being that requires you to integrate her essence into the fabric of your soul in an entirely new, elevated form. Consider the powerful biblical narrative of Elijah and Elisha. Elijah, the mighty prophet, did not cease to be a conduit for divine power when his earthly journey concluded and he ascended in a whirlwind. His prophetic mantle, a tangible symbol of his anointing and spiritual authority, fell to Elisha. The anointing itself did not vanish. It simply transmuted, changing the form through which it flowed and manifested. It found a new vessel, yet its power remained undiminished. If anything, it intensified. In the same vein, what your beloved mother ceaselessly carried for you in the physical realm, her relentless intercession, her vigilant watchfulness, the fierce, unwavering way a mother prays over her children like a seasoned warrior standing guard over a hallowed battlefield, that profound spiritual arsenal did not simply evaporate into the ether when she crossed the veil. Oh no, it transfigured. It underwent a sacred metamorphosis, moving from the constraints of the earthly dimension into a higher, more expansive spiritual realm. In this dimension, her intercession now operates without the limitations of a tired body, a worried mind, or a world that too often struggles to make sacred space for the divine. Her love and prayers are no longer tethered by time zones, physical distance, or the limitations of human perception. They are pure, potent, and unhindered. She is not praying for you less. In fact, her prayers are now imbued with a celestial clarity and power that was simply impossible from this earthly side. She is praying for you from a place where prayer has no ceiling, no boundaries, a direct, unimpeded channel to the very heart of the Father, resonating with a frequency that transcends all earthly static. This is a prayer that moves mountains not by force, but by pure, unadulterated divine alignment. And here is where this truth pierces even deeper into the spiritual landscape of your current season. The reason the adversary, the enemy of your soul, has been working with such relentless intensity, such cunning ferocity, in this particular season of your life is not, as he desperately wants you to believe, because you are losing ground or because you are weakening. On the contrary, his heightened assault is a resounding spiritual indicator, a definitive signpost that you are on the precipice of a profound inheritance. You are about to step into a season of unprecedented spiritual transfer and elevation. There is a sacred transfer, an impartation of grace and authority that occurs in the crucible of grief, a profound spiritual exchange that most people tragically never access. They remain too consumed by the immediate agony of merely trying to survive the seismic shock of loss, too entangled in the pain of what was taken, to open their spiritual hands and receive what the very loss itself was divinely carrying for them. This is a divine paradox. Within the emptiness, a fullness awaits. Scan the hallowed pages of Scripture, and you will discover a consistent pattern. Every truly great transition, every monumental elevation in the lives of God's chosen, came wrapped not in fanfare and triumph, but in the somber, demanding robes of grief and profound personal stripping. Think of Joseph's desolate pit, a place of betrayal and despair, yet where his character was forged for prime ministry. Recall David's grueling wilderness seasons, running for his life, stripped of kingship and comfort, where his reliance on God became absolute. Remember Ruth's arduous famine road, a path of desolation and widowhood, which ultimately led her to a place of unparalleled legacy and blessing. Before the spiritual elevation, before the anointing, before the crown, there was always a profound stripping, a divine excavation. And in that stripping, in that painful but necessary shedding, something was being freed from within them. An old identity, a limiting belief, a particular dependence, something that, in its previous form, simply could not move into the next higher dimension with them. What is being exquisitely and purposefully freed from you right now, in the very heart of your grief, is the cherished, perhaps even comfortable, but ultimately limiting version of yourself that still unconsciously needed her presence in the old, physically dependent way. But wait, Before your heart rushes forward with any premature conclusions, you absolutely need to grasp the full nuance of this truth. Because that last sentence will inevitably land wrong, will be misunderstood, if you do not hear the profound distinction I am making. This is unequivocally not about somehow no longer needing her, as if her significance has diminished. It is about a sacred graduation from a specific form of connection, the one that inherently depended on her physical presence, her earthly proximity, her tangible touch. You are being invited, not to a severing, but to a spiritual upgrade, stepping into a covenant of connection that is so divinely ordained, so deeply rooted in eternal love, that absolutely no grave, no earthly veil, no demonic interference, no spiritual principalities can ever interrupt its flow or diminish its power. The innocent child within you, the tender, vulnerable part of your soul, undeniably needed her loving arms, her comforting embrace, her physical presence to navigate the early wilderness of this world. But the powerful, purposeful person you are inexorably becoming, the soul stepping into its destined authority and calling, now requires her authority. And you must understand that authority, especially spiritual authority, moves in a profoundly different way than mere physical comfort or direct intervention. It does not hold your hand in the same way, guiding your every step. Instead, with a far greater, more enduring power, it holds your ground. It becomes your unshakable foundation, your spiritual anchor, your divine defense, ensuring your footing remains secure even amidst the most tumultuous storms of life. She is holding your ground right now, a silent, powerful force working on your behalf. Allow your mind to drift back, to reflect deeply on the subtle yet profound moments in the last few weeks, perhaps even in the very recent days, where situations that logically should have escalated into chaos, that by all earthly rights should have unraveled completely, somehow miraculously held together. Recall that unexpected clarity that descended upon you during a moment of intense confusion, a sudden, unexplainable calm that settled your spirit amidst internal turmoil. Think of that critical decision you were on the cusp of making, a choice that held significant weight, and something deep within you, a quiet, assured voice, a knowing that transcended logic, whispered, "No, not that way. That is not your path." That, beloved one, was not the capricious hand of luck. That was not a mere coincidence, a random alignment of favorable circumstances. That was the profound, active and relentless intercession of a mother who, having crossed into glory, has now been granted unimpeded access to the full spectrum of heaven's boundless resources. And with the fierce, unwavering love that only a mother possesses, she is strategically deploying every single one of those divine resources on your behalf. She possesses a celestial vantage point. She sees with crystalline clarity what you are walking into. The unseen challenges, the hidden opportunities, the spiritual ambushes. You, from your earthly perspective, are primarily focused on what you are merely walking through. And this divine differential in perspective is precisely why the intercession she carries for you now is infinitely more precise, more acutely targeted, and exponentially more powerful than anything she could have offered from this side of the veil, bound by human limitations. From her elevated position, she sees the insidious traps laid subtly ahead of you. She perceives the open doors of destiny that you are perilously close to missing, because the fog of grief has, understandably, narrowed your spiritual vision. She sees the pivotal person who is about to enter your life and, with divine timing, dramatically shift your entire trajectory. And let me be absolutely clear, she is not watching passively as a mere spectator from the grandstands of heaven. She is engaged in active, fervent and continuous cooperation with the very counsels of heaven, orchestrating events and sending divine assistance on your behalf, a celestial advocate tirelessly working for your highest good. And this profound realization brings us with an almost startling clarity to something that most people entirely miss, or perhaps subconsciously choose to avoid: the persistent, insidious grip of guilt. Because it is undeniably there, isn't it? Lurking beneath the surface of the raw grief, quieter than the overwhelming sadness, yet somehow infinitely heavier, more pervasive. This persistent, low-frequency hum of guilt that resonates with the echoes of things left unsaid, the unspoken words that now feel like heavy stones in your heart. It manifests in the memory of visits not taken, opportunities to connect that slipped away, calls cut tragically short, and perhaps most painfully, the elusive, idealized version of yourself that you desperately wish she had seen more of, or perhaps even understood more fully before her departure. The enemy of your soul, a master strategist of spiritual warfare, has been assiduously cultivating that guilt like a meticulously tended poisonous garden. He waters it with every painful memory, every regretful "if only," every thought of perceived failing. He keeps it alive, vibrant, and deeply rooted because he possesses an ancient, nefarious wisdom. He knows with absolute certainty that as long as you are carrying the suffocating weight of guilt, you will be utterly incapable of receiving the profound inheritance that awaits you. You will stand, paralyzed by self-condemnation, at the very threshold of everything she left for you: the spiritual blessings, the anointings, the wisdom, the love, the destiny, and you will, in your own brokenness, whisper to yourself the damning lie that you do not, in any conceivable way, deserve to walk through that sacred doorway. And that, my beloved, is a lie so precisely engineered, so exquisitely tailored to exploit your deepest vulnerabilities, that it should, in its sheer cunning, absolutely terrify you. For it leverages the very depth and sincerity of your own love for her as the cruel mechanism of your spiritual bondage. It twists your affection into a weapon against your own soul, convincing you that your profound love mandates your unending self-punishment. Coming up, we will uncover the single most crucial truth that this very guilt actually reveals about you. A truth so potent and empowering that the enemy absolutely does not want you to comprehend it. Stay with me. Hold this space open, because this revelation will irrevocably reframe everything you thought you knew about your grief and your connection to her. But first, before we dive into that profound unveiling, this fundamental truth must firmly and unequivocally land within the deepest chambers of your heart. The profound measure of your grief, its intensity, its duration, its very fabric, is not a testament to your weakness, but an undeniable sacred measure of the depth of your love. And consequently, the measure of your love is the most compelling, irrefutable evidence of the noble character etched upon your soul. Let's be clear. Individuals who do not possess the capacity to love deeply with an open and vulnerable heart simply do not grieve deeply. Their sorrow is superficial, a passing cloud. The very guilt you are carrying, this burdensome weight you feel, is not, as the enemy whispers, proof of your failure, proof of your inadequacy, or proof of your shortcomings. No, my dear one. It is, in its purest spiritual essence, profound proof of your devotion. It is the living, breathing testimony of a heart that takes relationship with a divine seriousness, a soul that honors with unwavering reverence the sacred bond it shared, a spirit that deeply wishes it could have given more because it fundamentally understood the immeasurable value of what it was so freely given. Your mother, in her wisdom and her love, did not raise someone who treats love lightly, someone who offers shallow affection. And the very depth of the grief and the tender ache of guilt you now carry within you is the unmistakable fingerprint of everything she meticulously, lovingly, and sacrificially poured into you throughout your life, now finding its way back to the surface, demanding to be seen, felt, and understood in a new light. From her celestial vantage point, bathed in the pure, unclouded light of heaven, she is not scrutinizing the calls you did not make, nor tallying the perceived missed opportunities. She is gazing upon the enduring, vibrant, and unwavering love you are still carrying for her within your heart. And from where she stands now, utterly free from the limiting shadows of ego, the distorting lens of fear, or the misunderstandings that often plague human relationships, she sees all of it with absolute, crystalline clarity. She sees the profound, underlying love that existed beneath the moments that were difficult, challenging, or fraught with human imperfection. She sees the pure intention, the sincere desire, beneath the times you may have felt you fell short or stumbled. She sees you precisely the way heaven sees you, whole, complete, not fragmented by past regrets, full, overflowing with potential, not condemned by perceived failures, unbroken, not damaged. And now, with this profound understanding anchoring your spirit, we arrive at the pivotal shift, the revelation that has the power to change absolutely everything about how you experience this season of your life. Most people, trapped within conventional earthly paradigms, inherently believe that the ultimate goal of grief is simply acceptance. They are convinced that the journey culminates when you finally arrive at a place where you stoically accept that she is physically gone, that the chapter of her earthly life is irrevocably closed, and that you must simply learn to navigate and live in the after, the desolate space she supposedly left behind. And on a certain, very superficial level, that perspective is not entirely wrong. It contains a sliver of truth. However, it is profoundly and dangerously incomplete, because acceptance that terminates solely at the point of loss, a resignation that merely acknowledges absence, is only half of the magnificent, glorious truth. The other half, the half that heaven itself, in its boundless grace and wisdom, is urgently attempting to press into your outstretched hands right now, a sacred gift waiting to be claimed, is not mere acceptance of what was, but active, intentional, and courageous reception of what she perpetually left. It is the radical act of opening your spiritual being not just to the void, but to the overflowing legacy, the spiritual inheritance, the enduring love, and the continued connection that she has bequeathed to you, a treasure far beyond rubies. This reception transforms grief from an emptying into a profound filling, turning sorrow into sacred endowment. There exists a divine impartation, a spiritual transfer of grace, wisdom, and strength that only passes through the soul when grief is not bypassed, not suppressed, not intellectualized, but walked all the way through. When you allow its raw, transformative power to fully penetrate and reshape the deepest contours of your being. This sacred impartation does not descend upon those who attempt to bypass the pain, who leap over the chasms of sorrow, pretending they do not exist. It does not come to the ones who attempt to manage their suffering from a sterile, safe distance, observing it rather than immersing themselves in its depths. No. This profound spiritual endowment is reserved for the courageous souls who permit the torrent of grief to move through them completely, unapologetically, and without reservation. It comes to those who have cried the ugly, gut-wrenching cries until their very bones ached, who have sat in the quiet, poignant rooms that still faintly carry the scent of her presence, who have perhaps even talked to the empty space, feeling the sting of foolishness, yet driven by an undeniable yearning for connection. Those are the ones, the brave and vulnerable ones, who emerge from the crucible of profound grief, carrying something they profoundly did not possess before. They carry an unshakable depth of spirit, a newfound clarity of spiritual sight, a boundless compassion that extends far beyond what they could have ever manufactured or reasoned into existence on their own. This is an anointing, a spiritual ripening, forged in the fires of loss. You did not merely lose her, beloved one. In the deepest, most sacred sense, you are still actively receiving her, her essence, her gifts, her enduring love, flowing into you in ways more powerful and subtle than you can yet fully comprehend. But here, my friend, is the part of this profound message that you likely did not expect. The spiritual confrontation that this entire discourse has been meticulously building toward, brick by brick, truth by truth. Because I spoke to you at the very beginning about a significant shift, a paradigm-shattering revelation that was coming, and to truly grasp its magnitude, I need you to be willing to hold what I am about to articulate without flinching, without recoiling, allowing it to penetrate your deepest beliefs. The very thing that has been inadvertently blocking the fullness of this divine connection, the precise reason why the channel of communication between you and her has felt intermittently closed, why the signs you've received have felt faint, fleeting, or agonizingly inconsistent, why you sometimes find yourself wrestling with the gnawing doubt, wondering if you are merely imagining the profound presence you occasionally feel, is not, as the enemy frequently whispers, his malicious inturf, Arents. It is not, as your own insecurities might suggest, your intrinsic unworthiness to receive such a sacred gift. And it is certainly not the vast, insurmountable distance between the earthly and heavenly dimensions, for love transcends all such barriers. No, the profound, often unrecognized truth is this: it is your grief itself. Let me be unequivocally clear. This is not to suggest that grief is inherently wrong, or that you should, for one moment, suppress or deny the natural, human, and deeply spiritual emotions that accompany such a profound loss. Your grief is a valid and necessary part of your journey. However, when grief transmutes, when it insidiously becomes your primary identity, when you begin to define yourself by your loss, rather than by the enduring eternal love that loss revealed, it subtly but powerfully morphs into a specific spiritual frequency, a vibrational signature that, paradoxically, repels precisely what it is desperately trying to reach. Imagine your spiritual heart as a radio receiver. When you are constantly tuned to the station of loss, broadcasting only the static of sorrow, the echoes of absence, you simply cannot fully and clearly receive the continuous, unwavering transmission of love that she has been sending. And she has been sending love, relentlessly, constantly, without cessation, a torrent of divine affection across the dimensional divide. It has come in the form of synchronicities, those meaningful signs you quickly dismissed as mere coincidence. A specific song playing at just the right moment, the unmistakable scent of her favorite perfume in an empty room, the sudden appearance of a cardinal or a butterfly during a moment of profound introspection. It has arrived as comfort that permeated your being too quickly, too deeply to be explained by mere logic or psychological resilience, a peace that truly surpasses understanding. It has manifested in dreams that felt so exquisitely real, so vivid, so imbued with her essence that they defied categorization as random neuronal firings. It has appeared in those fleeting moments of inexplicable warmth that enveloped you, a tangible caress on your skin, a spiritual embrace, which you then quickly talked yourself out of believing, rationalizing it away. Why? Because you were, understandably, so terribly afraid to believe they were real, terrified of opening your heart fully to that hope, only to potentially lose her a second time if those signs turned out to be nothing more than figments of your longing. This fear, this profound protective mechanism, has been the very barrier, And this, then, brings us to the final crucial insight, the profound truth that possesses the power to shatter this debilitating cycle and unlock the fullness of your inheritance. The second, more insidious loss that you have been unconsciously but fiercely protecting yourself from, the loss of hope itself, has been the most significant, impenetrable barrier standing between you and the boundless fullness of what she is tirelessly trying to deliver to you. Hope, in its truest spiritual sense, is not naive optimism. It is a foundational virtue, an anchor for the soul, a spiritual receiver tuned to divine possibilities. Without hope, the channel remains static. But listen closely, for this is the breaking of the dawn. She does not need you to miraculously stop grieving. She understands the sacredness of your sorrow. What she desperately needs, what heaven is urging, is for you to stop grieving alone. Because the vast ocean of love, the profound emotional energy you have been tirelessly pouring into the aching emptiness of missing her, needs to be consciously, intentionally, and radically redirected. Pour that profound love instead into actively receiving her. Pour it into diligently noticing her presence, her signs, her whispers. Pour it into the quiet, sacred moments where something, however subtle, brushes the very edge of your awareness, and instead of swiftly dismissing it as wishful thinking or coincidence, you bravely, courageously respond. Say it, either out loud in the silence of your room or in the most intimate interior silence of your spirit. I feel you. I see you. I receive you. Make it a conscious, reciprocal act of connection. Allow the channel between your yearning heart and her radiant spirit to cease being a solitary, one-way current of grief flowing out into the void. Instead, courageously declare and activate it to become a vibrant, two-way river of boundless love, flowing in both directions, her love pouring into you and your love affirming her enduring presence. That, beloved one, is the potent declaration that seals it. It is not a rigid formula. It is not an empty ritual. It is simply the radical, transformative, and profoundly courageous act of truly believing, with every fiber of your being, that she is still close enough to hear you, close enough to respond, close enough to commune. It is the restoration of faith in an eternal bond. Place your hand over your heart right now. Feel its rhythm, its enduring capacity for love. And as you feel that sacred beat, speak these words with me, allowing them to resonate through every cell of your being, declaring a new covenant of connection. I release the guilt I was never meant to carry. I release the silence I mistook for absence. I release the version of love that was bound to a body, and I receive the version of love that moves through dimensions. I declare that the grief I have been carrying is not my identity. It is my testimony. I am not alone in this. I have never been alone in this. The love my mother carries for me did not stop at the grave. It expanded beyond it. I open the channel between my spirit and hers, and I declare it sealed against every interference, every lie, every whisper that told me the distance was too wide to cross. She sees me, she is with me, and I walk forward from this moment, not in the weight of what I lost, but in the inheritance of what she left. I am her legacy walking. I am her prayers answered, and I receive every word she has been trying to reach me with, fully, completely, without fear. It is already done. If this message moved something in you today, do not let it settle in silence. Leave a word below, even just her name. Let this space become a place where she is spoken out loud and remembered with power. And if you know someone carrying this kind of grief, someone who has been moving through their days with that low, quiet ache that no one else fully sees, share this with them, because you might be the reason this message finds them. And that is not small. That might be exactly what your mother would have wanted you to do.